Podcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming on to today's webinar. We are going to launch this in about 1 minute. Just let people kind of sign in. So just bear with us for about 1 more minute. Okay, hello everyone, and thank you for attending today's webinar. I am Jennifer Carpus Romaine, and I am Director of Marketing Services and Industry Outreach at FayeBSG, and I'm going to be your moderator on today's session. So if you do have any questions throughout, please write them into the question section. And I also want to introduce my colleague, Jake Budekoffer, and he's going to be talking all about the functionalities of SugarCell. Take it away, Jake.
Thanks, Jennifer, and thanks everyone for attending. As Jennifer said, as questions come up, feel free to put them in the chat box. Today, we're going to focus on some of the advanced functionality that is in SugarCell as it relates to the new offerings, and we wanted to make sure that a lot of our existing client base understood what's all available. If you have any questions, we can answer those on today's call as well. What we're looking at now, so Sugar, as the business landscape has evolved over the years, a lot of companies are transitioning to more of a renewal subscription-based economy. And as that's been evolving, Sugar has evolved with it. And so one of the things that Sugar now has as part of their offering is what's called a renewals console. So the renewals console, what that is it's a combination of a couple of different dashboards. So you have sort of an overview that gives you an idea of what your pipeline is looking like. You have your activities over here. We can make modifications to this dashboard as well. If we see here, there are some tabs on this dashboard. A tab for you to drill into your account list. You can actually click into an account and it'll pull up relevant information related to it. So Sugar has added new functionality specifically for SugarCell that actually combines a variety of different screens that you would normally have to click onto separate tabs, and it includes them all on one individual screen. So one of the things that Sugar has added is the functionality of active subscriptions. So now in Sugar you can have subscriptions. There's also functionality of what's called purchased line items, which can automatically create renewals based on those expiration dates. So this is an account, AIM Capital Inc., and here you can see their subscriptions. Subscriptions can be, monthly, they can be yearly, they can be multi-years as well. So just by looking at this account here from the dashboard, you have access to all the information that you would normally not have access to in, say, Sugar Pro. So you can see things like their contacts, the opportunities, quotes, active subscriptions. You can add comments to a comment log. You can also, log a call, schedule a meeting, create a note, that sort of thing directly on this screen as well. So it's really cool functionality. It really allows you to bring everything for the sales rep on one screen so that you don't actually have to drill off of the dashboard to look at everything related to that account. You could do everything, on that account that you would need to just on the dashboard. And then you could X out of it, click on your next account, and it brings up that information for the subsequent account on your dashboard. So that's a pretty cool feature in terms of, modifying and enhancing the layout of what a dashboard can do. As you can see here, you can also see opportunities in terms of the renewal, the ones that are most recent, sorted by the ones that are, out there for a while as well. But it gives you the ability, in this case, it looks like, you probably never should get to a point where it's a past due, obviously, because you'll have, and we'll go into what the workflow tool does as well. But here you can see, okay, these are when all these renewals are due. Here's the dollar amount of these. And similarly, you could drill into this opportunity. You can log interactions on the opportunity. You can edit the opportunity directly from here if you need to. I like this functionality because it allows you just to go on the screen one by one, click into it on the same screen, enter in your notes, save, and go back as well. So by clicking that X button. So it's a really interesting dashboard. It makes it a lot more efficient for the people that are using Sugar. As you may know, CRM in general can be kind of click heavy, and this sort of not eliminates it, but decreases the amount of clicks necessary to log some interactions, to view, related records, that sort of thing as well. As we discussed, there are now purchased line items that can relate to a revenue line item once an opportunity has been closed won. These can automatically put renewal opportunities on your dashboard once something is sold. So something that has been a little bit more manual in the past with Sugar is now being, giving you the ability to automate these things, both from a tracking perspective and reporting perspective as well. So one of the biggest requests, from a lot of our Sugar Pro customers is wanting the ability to automate certain processes. What we're looking at now is Sugar BPM. Sugar BPM is a business process management tool, and the way that it works is based off of business rules. So in this case, a business rule could really be anything that is based on data inside of Sugar. So for example, territories. If you had all of your zip codes or area codes or things like that, a business rule could be, here are all the zip codes that match an output about what a territory is. So like the Northwest would have its own business rule of what that territory is. In this case, the business rule is based on a discount percentage. So if a discount percentage, there's a quoting functionality inside of Sugar. I'm not sure if there are people on this demo that have actually, do quotes, but if you do, you have the ability to, add discounts to them. And if you want to put some limitations on what those discounts are in sort of an approval process, you could do that. So the workflow tool will give you the ability to do approvals, whether it's on quotes or opportunities, things of that nature. Tasks can get automatically created, emails can go out, that sort of thing as well. Another example of a workflow could be a lead routing, where you go through, as we were kind of describing a minute ago, you can set up these territories. These territories can be regions, they can be countries. If you narrow it down, if you do more business in the States, then you can have, multiple regions, things like that. And so when the idea is that when someone fills out a form on your website or something of that nature, or someone from support creates a lead in the system, they wouldn't necessarily have to know who it goes to. They just put in the information that's required, the zip code, the state, country, whatever it is, and Sugar will take it from there. send a lead assignment, wait for 2 days, check if the lead is converted. Sorry about that. Check if the lead is converted, and then reroute that lead if it has not been. So one of the things that it has a timing mechanism as part of the workflow too, as you can see. So it's very important, in the sales capacity, when you get a lead, to respond to them right away. You don't know who else they're reaching out to, and maybe they reach out to a competitor that reaches out to them quicker and gets their interest, as opposed to working with you. So through this tool, you can track, you can create those rules and kind of like sales service level agreements, and when the reps need to respond to them, or else they could get rerouted to the supervisor. So it's pretty advanced functionality, but it's also has the capacity for a high ROI, because it allows you to create these rules and make sure things aren't slipping through the cracks. Another example, this would be more relevant to Sugar Serve, which just wanted to highlight as well that Sugar Serve is the customer service add-on for Sugar, which also has the similar things, but instead of a renewal console, it is a service console. And instead of opportunities, the service console is more drilled based off of the cases module, which you do have access to that in Sugar Pro. So I just wanted to touch on that in case anyone is on this call that is using cases, because the similar functionality that we have for Sugar Sell is also available in Sugar Serve, which is the customer service solution that Sugar offers. So with that, you can have all sorts of SLAs, both sales service level agreements, as well as customer service level agreements. Another thing that you can do, whether it's leads that are coming in or issues that are coming in, through this tool, you can also do round robin. So say your sales team or your customer service team isn't assigned to specific accounts, or they're not assigned to specific territories, you can use the round robin assign the case, which basically means everyone gets one case or one lead, and then it goes through a cycle. So that's some of the functionality. Sugar does provide a lot of these already pre-built. And it gives you the ability to, they come disabled because they don't want to automatically turn things on in your system. They could also be, tweaked. You can create your own on the fly as well. So it's kind of up to you in terms of how many of these you want to leverage, how often, that sort of thing, because you want to make sure that you don't do too much, you don't bog down the system, the reps aren't getting too many emails, but you want to make sure as well that things aren't slipping through the cracks. So one of the workflows that we have here at FayeBSG are both based off of lack of activity on our customer accounts. So if we haven't spoken to someone in a certain amount of time, we get tasks created and emails assigned to us as well for us to reach out, check in, make sure things are good, make sure they're getting the most out of Sugar. And we also get similar workflows based off of the leads and things like that come into our system as well. The other thing about the Sugar BPM, and we'll just highlight this now, is what's called Sugar's customer journey. So Sugar's customer journey is basically a front end process tool. So say you have opportunities with specific sales stages, and within those sales stages you have very specific things that you want to have happen. Maybe there needs to be some meetings, some tasks, some internal meetings, that sort of thing. Customer journey is basically a process template, and within that process template it gives you the ability to kind of see visually where you're at within that process. This works concurrently with Sugar BPM. That's kind of why I was highlighting it. And so if you wanted to set up, email reminders based off of these tasks, follow-up emails that go out based off of these tasks, things of that nature. The BPM really brings this to life. So it gives you the ability to not only have that process template, but then to track certain dates. And if they're not happening, they can be escalated, they can be sent reminders, those sort of things as well. So you can see very visually through this template, you can determine when the dates need to be done. And these don't need to be set in stone. So they can be, this task here needs to be done a week after the journey started, or you could configure it to say that this task needs to be done X amount of days or hours after this task has started. So it kind of gives you the flexibility in terms of when things need to be due. It's a very good tool for companies that either have like a sales process or a customer service process, or those that want to implement one inside of Sugar as well. So we could probably do a whole webinar just on this tool, but just wanted to highlight it and stress that it's tightly integrated with Sugar BPM from an automation standpoint, and then visually the manager, the rep, can see everything they need to, right on one screen. Those were kind of the highlights, at least from the front end, from the interface and some of the functionality that Sugar provides. There's also some of the back-end admin functionality. So there's some more advanced security functionality with inside of Sugar Cell and Sugar Serve. So one of the new things is what's called team-based permissions. In Sugar Pro, basically you have roles and teams. And so a team, you either have to be on it and you can see the record, or you're not on that team and you can't see it at all. What team-based permissions allow you to do is it actually allows you to give users access to view certain records, but you can restrict so that they can't do anything on those records. So it's very common in terms of, backup for a salesperson or a customer service person where maybe it's not their account, but you need to give them access to kind of view it. So if someone calls in, they could at least pull up their record, view information, do things of that nature. So there's just more advanced permissions and what people can and can't do, and it gives managers more flexibility and more security. The other thing that you can do is you can have role-based views. So for example, say that you are in, let's pull up their account. Say you're in an account record. A salesperson can have, with Sugar Cell, a salesperson can have a completely different view from, say, an admin or someone in customer service or someone in marketing. So you can completely control the field views based on the role that that person is in. So if you wanted to hide, revenue from a certain user profile or a certain role, you can just remove it from the view of that person individually. So you'll notice that a lot of these features are geared towards decent sized teams where there might be some issues with security. You might want to have different views and layouts, that sort of thing. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of the, at a high level, those are some of the differences. If there are additional things, you want to dive into things deeper, we could always take that offline. So I will follow up as well with everyone on this webinar individually. But I think that's kind of all I had to show. It's a combination of some dashboards, some advanced automation with renewals, and then obviously Sugar BPM, which helps really automate things and gives users the ability to, incentivizes them to want to actually use the system, because then, once you start to put things in it, then things will start to, automate as well. So Jen, I'll kick it back to you to see if anything popped up question-wise.
Yeah, we just have a couple questions for you. So first up is, what is the upgrade process like?
So it's actually pretty straightforward. It's one of those things where it's just like sugar doing an upgrade, where it's kind of like flipping a switch. So once we make that determination, um, if there's customizations, we just need to kind of take a look at those offhand. So there are certain things where if you're injecting custom code, we should probably review it. If you're mostly using it out of the box, then it's a pretty straightforward process. We submit tickets with sugar, they upgrade you, they change the license type, and you're kind of good to go from there.
Okay, great. And just one more question for you. If you guys do have any more questions, feel free to put them in the questions tab as we answer this one. Is there any cost associated with upgrading?
There's a additional cost for a sugar cell. It's $80 per user per month, but sugar is running, they do often run promotions. So if it's kind of like case by case basis. So if you're interested, just let us know and we'll work with you and sugar to see what we can do in that regard.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much, Jake, for presenting all that. It was really great to see and show everybody on this call. If you guys do have questions, feel free to reach out to us and Jake will be following up. So thank you guys so much for your time. We appreciate it. Have a good day.
Thanks, Jennifer. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.